So this is my short film review of Crust, or Crust, depending on the language that you're speaking. So it's a German film written and directed by the brilliant Jens Kevin Georg, and yeah, it's an absolutely knockout short film, coming of age type story. We have a character of Fabi, played by Philip Kapell. He's a 12-year-old on holiday with his dad and sister. They go to their granddad's, and yeah, all is not normal with this family. They have a obsession with scars, so like cuts to yourself, and they even have this wall where the first scar that you get as a family member gets kind of painted on there and depicted. So, for example, the dad, his is he cut himself chopping onions, so he's kind of known as Onion Boy, something which he kind of feels quite embarrassed about. And yeah, so for Fabi, he's going to his grandfather, who is very passionate about this, and hoping to get his scar, but also still quite uncertain about why he should be getting it, and looks very anxious about it. The sort of majority of the film, or especially the first half, is when he gets to his grandfather's. They go into the woods and start building this roller coaster, which might seem a bit strange. When you see it, it kind of makes sense. It's not like a massive one, but it's something that you'd see maybe at like a fairground. And he bought this for Fabi when he was born, and now it's 12 years, and now they're gonna put it together and finish it. And Fabi is meant to take the first ride, and it all looks quite rickety. It looks quite dangerous, almost as if they've set it up for him to have an accident so that he can get his scar. And yeah, the film is about whether or not he's going to go through with it, and then we have a bit more after that, which is really, really good. I don't want to spoil anything, so that's why I'm keeping the synopsis fairly vague after that. But yeah, it really hinges on this family dynamic, because on paper it could seem like quite a morbid, almost disturbing film, but it's really not. In my written review, I mentioned about the sort of the film being akin to Wes Anderson. It has that dark comedy, but it's a very bright comedy. It's got a lot of vibrancy to it that makes it very enjoyable, so that these big themes that are running underneath go almost unnoticed, but you do feel them, but it's not overpowering the film. It's not making it a very heavy film. It's not a heavy film by any means. Those themes, those dark, deep themes, are things like generational trauma. So we see how the dad has been impacted by the influence of his father, the granddad, who is still passionately about, you must have a scar, it's important. We put a lot of emphasis on having a scar, and then the father is kind of embarrassed about his story, so he spent his whole life getting more scars and looking really torn up because he wants to impress, and he wants to be part of this family and earn his stripes almost. The daughter, she's brilliant, brilliantly played by Luise Landau. She is like the typical reckless child, just doesn't seem to have any fear, jumps into situations. She is more likely to get a scar than Fabi. And yeah, then you've got the situation with the roller coaster, and who's going to go on that, and who's going to get this scar during this vacation. And it's a really interesting movie. I love how it's been done. I think tonally it gets everything just right. This balance was crucial, because if you're putting these type of elements in here, you want to tell this story and you want the audience to come away with these themes of trauma and following our elders and questioning tradition and things like that, but you want them to come away and feel entertained. They've absolutely nailed it. And this is actually the debut from director Jens Kevin Georg. So I'm looking back to make sure I don't get it wrong. Apologies if I'm pronouncing it wrong. But as a debut short film, this is incredible. Really, really good. It's funny. It's emotional, impactful, thought-provoking, all those things that you'd want from a short film. And what I also really appreciate is that it works perfectly in its time frame. Sometimes, and you can watch some of the videos on the channel where I'm reviewing short films, and often the question comes up, does it need to be longer? Should there have been more? Is this more of a proof of concept for something larger? And with Crust, I think actually it's perfect. It's the perfect length. It's the perfect story. You get exactly what you want from it. They don't shy away from some great sequences. There's a brilliant slow motion sequence that happens later on, where the daughter, she throws this axe across. It's just brilliant. There's also a scene within a car at one point where Fabi, let's just say, gets hurt, and it's brilliant. The way the camera's not in this car, it's sort of further away, and we see it from a distance. That was just brilliant. It really worked. And that's what I love about these type of short films, is where the choices that they've made and the balance of the elements that they're trying to get together, all the filmmaking, the performances, which are all terrific, they all just come together and it all really, really works. I think it's spectacular. I don't think it's available online. I might be wrong. I know it's done some work on the festival circuit, but there's no link from what I can see right now. I strongly recommend you seek it out. If you need sort of help getting in the right direction, let us know. But yeah, it's called Crust. So that's Kruste, and written and directed by Jens Kevin Georg. And yeah, it's big thumbs up from me.